Hey y'all, I'm Ronnie and welcome to Ronnie's Rainbow Room. Here I will talk about how I use makeup to help with my self-confidence. But today I'm going to talk about how I experienced COVID. Like most of y'all know, I had COVID really bad 2 years ago. It's actually right at the 2 year mark when I found out I had it. And we're going to have a lot of fun with the makeup today, so just enjoy. I don't really know exactly where I'm going with it. I'm just going with it. But about this time, August 2021, I found out I had COVID. I tested positive for COVID. Prior to that, I thought I just had a really bad sinus infection. So I just was doing over the counter medicine because I deal a lot with sinus problems. So most of the time, there's only so much that they can do. I still deal with major sinus problems. But eventually it got to the point it wasn't going away. So I ended up going and getting tested before going to the doctor to be looked at, because I didn't if I had COVID, I didn't want to risk going to expose any of the nurses or the doctor or anything. Today I'm adding primer all over because I've got something special I'm going to do with my makeup today. This isn't going to be your normal makeup look, and I want to make sure it's all going to stick where I need it to stick. But I went and got tested. About 3 hours later, I was told I was positive for COVID. At that moment, I knew it wasn't going to be good for me because I do have autoimmune disorders. Um, I was on the phone at the time. So once I got off the phone with the nurse, I broke down. I cried. Made my boyfriend promise he would get tested as well. Then I started making phone calls and telling my mom and friends and stuff what was going on. Then eventually, because this was on a Friday, before that weekend was over, I started getting the back pain. Worst back pain I'd ever experienced. It was awful. Then, after I dealt with that, I remember talking to my mom and telling Mom, it's like, I'm hurting. I'm hurting. I can't breathe. It was more I couldn't breathe. I was having trouble breathing. It done made its way to my lungs. Then she's like, call the paramedics, call them and let them know what's going on. So I did. And then they came, told me my O2 was in the 80s, which most know that's not good. It's supposed to be in the high 90s, 100. Then they told me that they gave me a breathing treatment, told me my options, said I would be best off taking myself because if I went in the ambulance, I could be sitting back there for hours just waiting to be getting seen. I'm applying a white eyeshadow because I want everything to stick really well and show up and pop. And then that's what I did. I went to the hospital, talked to my mom part of the way, and then I talked to my best friend the other part of the way. I got inside, got checked in. A few hours later, I got called to the back. They tried to draw blood, but couldn't. I was dehydrated. They could not get a vein to work with them at all. And then they put me in a room. And I was scared. I remember calling everybody, calling my mom, boyfriend, everybody. I was scared. COVID is probably one of the loneliest diseases out there. Because you're all by yourself. You can't have anybody with you. Trying to make sure that my eyelid is completely covered. People that are on my Facebook will know, like I showed you, this eyeshadow palette. I'm doing the blues. Those of you that are friends with me on Facebook kind of know a little bit. You probably have no clue what I'm doing, but you know what's involved. You know this eyeshadow palette. You know there's a mask involved, but you don't know what I'm doing with the mask. You know I've got my teal wig and some tattoos. Okay, back to my COVID story. So I was in this temporary room for about a week. They said they were just trying to wait for a room to become available for me. And as far as I knew, I was getting better. At this point, 2 years ago, I was still in that room. The next thing I know, I'm on the phone with my mom. And I'm like, Mom, I'm scared. I'm scared. They'd put the oxygen mask on me at that time. And I started panicking. I was like, Mom, I can't breathe. I can't breathe. I'm scared. I can't breathe. I'm scared. And then, according to my mom, the nurse was like, honey, you need to get off the phone now. I don't remember that. I do not remember that. I took a picture and shared it with everybody, and I don't remember that either. I don't remember taking that picture. Obviously, I blocked out some memories from it. Then, next thing I know, I'm waking up, got all these things coming from me. I had a trach. I couldn't talk. Couldn't hardly move my arms. Had these awful boots on my feet, which I begged them to take off because my feet get hot. I get hot real easily. And I begged them. I was like, somebody, please, Mama, please have them take these off. Take them off. Finally, they did. Finally, they took them off, and my brothers were there. My mom was there. From what I was told, my whole family had been there at one point. But I don't remember all that because I had been under sedation, heavy sedation. Cleaning up the eyes just a little bit. Let me do a little more primer here because I want makeup to stick. I don't normally put primer on the outside of my eyelid like this, but makeup, the eyeshadow won't show or stick as well if I don't. And then I remember saying, one, I wanted my glasses. I didn't have my glasses on. I can't really see well without my glasses. And then I wanted my phone. They didn't know where my phone was at that moment. This is the mask I chose. And then I remember my brothers feeding me ice chips because that's all I could have because it was a choking hazard having the trach on and trying to drink a fluid. Let me redo this here. I should have tied this prior to videoing, but I didn't. So, and I lost a lot of weight because I'd been under the sedation. I'd had a feeding tube. I went from weighing over 300 pounds down to about 230. I lost a lot of muscle tone. I could not walk. I could not feed myself. I could not wash myself. I could not go to the bathroom. They had let my beard grow out. Which anybody that knows me knows I do not like that. My whole life had just been taken from me because of COVID. Not only had I been alone while I was sick, but now all my independence was gone. I remember the nurse asking me if I knew what the date was. Well, I knew I went in August. So, I knew this. So I just thought about it. And I was like, September, I don't remember. I didn't say a date. I just said September 2021. And she was like, no, baby, it's October. I don't remember the date, but she's like, no, baby, it's October. And I was just in shock at that moment. Because I had no idea. I had no idea. It's not working the way I want it to. Let's do some orange. Because I know the orange looks pretty. And what I don't like, I'll clean up. And then I remember them having to feed me once I got the okay to eat. And my brothers, my mom, several of my friends would come and see me. There's a lot of things I don't remember. I think I must have blocked it out. But from what I understand, my family all came to say goodbye to me. They came to pull the plug. Because that's what the doctors had called them for. My, sorry if the camera's shaking a little bit. My mom and brothers, they all kind of told me their story, so did my dad. I'm going to blend a little green here. Honestly don't know what this look is going, what I'm going with here. I'm just kind of randomly applying different colors. And then my brother, okay, I said my brothers fed me ice chips. Mom would lotion my feet when I would allow her to. The nurses would bathe me. I was sleeping a lot. And then I got, I was changed to different rooms several times. I know I went to a respiratory place where that's where they focused on trying to get me off the trach. They tried to get me off the oxygen. It was harder to get me off the oxygen. My body didn't want to let that go, obviously. I'm still on the oxygen. I'm on about 3 liters right now. I left the hospital at 2. Also, they said that due to the length of time I was on in the bed, I shouldn't have been able to walk for another few months. But you don't tell me what I can't do, because I'm going to prove you wrong. I'm absolutely going to prove you wrong. And then after the respiratory therapy, I went to a rehab center where I got occupational therapy and physical therapy, which I got some of that also in the rehab or the respiratory floor. I got a little bit of occupational therapy and the physical therapy. The only thing I did not care for is they had this chair they would make me use, and I absolutely hated that thing. It hurt because they wanted me to sit for a certain amount of time, and it hurt to try to do that. I'm going to use a smaller brush for some of this here. I want to really get into some of these holes. And then I remember being in the rehab center, and they would, while I would work on certain things, I'd be looking at other things, and it's like, I want to do this. Such as the parallel bars. I'd always saw movies where people would be doing the parallel bars, and it's like, I want to do that. So they're like, whenever you're ready, you tell us. One day the nurse was just like, you know what, we're going to do this today. And I had them videotape every little thing I would do. So I wanted proof. I wanted to show people how I was doing. I had a lot of people praying for me. And I appreciate everybody that did pray for me. Those prayers helped. This is going to be a little longer video than I want it to be, but it's okay. I appreciate y'all listening. And then my biggest thing is I want to be back home by the time my birthday comes up. That was my biggest thing. Get me home for my birthday, which is in November. And they're like, well, we'll do that. We'll do that. We can do that. But one of the biggest things I dealt with while I was in the hospital was anxiety. And I never really dealt much with anxiety. I never had much anxiety. And I still deal with it today. Okay, here comes the reveal. I think I've done enough. And I will touch up. See, that's pretty. I think I might actually clean up a little. That I don't really like too much. Because I got some stuff I'm going to be putting up in there, so. That orange is pretty. The green is pretty. There, that's good. But I'm being too silent here. I remember when I first got on that parallel bar. And that first step I took, they cheered me. Oh my gosh. If I had my own personal cheerleaders there, they were so amazing. I was going to do that, but I think I'm going to lighten that up with a little pink. And then right before I left, I had to do these steps. They had these wooden steps. And I'd been eyeing those things. Oh my God, I'd been eyeing them. It's like, I want to do that. And they're like, you will. Don't worry, you will. Sure enough, before I left, we had me on those. And then I also had to walk up and down the hallways with a walker too. Because the biggest thing is I lived upstairs. I had an apartment upstairs. So we had to make sure I could walk up those apartments steps. I'm going to do my eyeliner and mascara before I do the final details here. Okay. Now for the quote for the day. I like this one mainly because I'm being very artistic here today. You are the artist of your own life. Don't hand the paintbrush to anyone else. And that's very true. And now my 3 affirmations for today. I used to dislike my eyes because they're brown. My mom's got green eyes. My dad's got brown eyes. I've got 2 brothers. I got the brown eyes. My middle brother got the green. And my youngest brother got blue. I'm like, why couldn't I have gotten blue or green? But I got brown. And over time, I have fallen in love with my brown eyes. My brown eyes are beautiful because with brown, they're not just brown. There are other colors in with those brown. Like right now they look dark. But sometimes when the light hits them, they're gold. They'll get little flecks of gold in them. Certain colors I do makeup, for my makeup, will make that gold pop. Certain colors will make it almost kind of amber. Well, sometimes I'll get a little bit of what looks like almost red color in there. Doing my eye makeup, I've learned a lot about my eyes. I absolutely love the shape of them. So, after COVID, I started really getting into doing the eye color. I used to do nothing but pinks and just neutral colors. But I learned with color, I can make my eyes pop more. Like right now, when I look in the mirror, I can see kind of some green, gold colors. I need to clean up that eyeliner a little bit. It's a little splotchy. That's okay. It's not always going to be perfect. This is just a fun look anyway. Really got to where I liked eyeliner. But I only like it on the top for me. I think it makes my eyes stand out more. Now the mascara. This is one of the Fenty, for part of the Fenty eyeliner or makeup. The Rihanna makeup. And it's weird. It's flat that way, fat that way. So I do the flat fur if I don't stab myself. And then flip it over and it's okay. I'm still learning how to use this one because it's different than any I've used before. I always forget this part, and then I have makeup all in my... Okay, where was I? Once I was able to start using my arms, I started doing my makeup. I didn't care that I had to wear a mask. I did not care. I still was going to wear my red lipstick and my pink lipstick and my purple lipstick. And I would show them, I was like, look, 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 look. And they'd be like, ooh-wee, girl. And they'd start asking me when I'd come in there to do my therapy, what color lipstick you wearing today? And I'd show them and they'd be like, ooh, that's pretty. I wanted to show off. It made me feel good. I was starting to feel human again. I'd shave my beard. They'd wheel me, once they got me out of the bed, they'd wheel me up to the sink. I'd do what I could with brushing my hair. And I would, after I got through brushing my hair, I'd do my shaving, I'd brush my teeth. And you don't realize how much you miss that until you can't do it. You do not realize how much you miss it. I absolutely miss being able to do that kind of stuff. I'm going to use a little blue glitter. Because glitter. And then my blue lips. I'm going to do blue lipstick, which I've got right here. Okay, so I like my eyes. I've already mentioned before that I like my lips, which I used to not like my lips because I didn't feel like that. I felt like they were small upper lip. I've got the pouty lip, like my mama says. This is the same brand as I usually use, the Maybelline Super Stay Matte Ink. And I'm going to mention the legs again, because that's one thing I talked about today is my legs. They're strong. Without these legs, I wouldn't have been walking the way I was. Because once I got home, I couldn't walk. Not without the help of somebody getting me up. And not without the walker. Let that dry a little bit, and then I'm going to put some gloss over top. Now, one more thing, the fun part. I don't know how this is going to work because I've never used this. But I am going to do some temporary tattoos here. Because why not? They are gold. I've got me a little towel and some water here. And then I'm going to take my little moon. There you can see me while I'm doing this. This is going to be a long video. I'm sorry. But, no, I'm not. Clean that up just a little bit. We're almost through. Ooh, that's pretty. And the last little part, I need to take the glasses and this off. There we go. A little more water. It's not perfect. It doesn't work too much over the makeup, I've realized. But that's okay. That works. That works just perfect. Now, the finishing part, the teal wig. Okay. Now let me adjust it the way I like it. I like a side part. And get my brush out because it's not even. Pull it out. And it turned out perfect. Now I want you to remember to always be uniquely you, to stand out, shine, be colorful, and most of all, just be you. I love y'all, and I will see you in a couple weeks. Bye now.